Hey, what's up guys, welcome back to another Dark and Darker video. In this one we're just going to be doing a no gear fighter loot run, so just the starter gear. And we're going to see if we can get some gear upgrades and make a whole lot of gold. So looks like we start off in the bottom left of the dungeon. Not a terrible spawn, we just need to find out which dungeon we're actually in. Also looks like the circle landed pretty close to us, so we're not going to have to move around too much to stay pretty much safe around the edge, which I would always recommend playing if you are solo and looking for loot. If you're looking for PvP, I'd be rushing to the center as fast as you can. Let's head out and see. Looks like we have a couple skeletons and some barrels and chests in this room, which is very handy. Having a bit of trouble with the door here. I'm not a fan of the arming sword. It can be a little difficult to use in close encounters like this. Just kite them around and get outside. Yeah, taking out skeletons as a fighter's pretty easy for the most part unless you get cornered. At least you've always got your handy shield. But if you're playing with starter gear, you've got pretty high movement speed. And you can, most of the time, just backstep and dodge attacks. As you can see, I'm a little bit sloppy here and I miss 2 backsteps and end up taking 2 hits. Which kind of sucks, but it's not the end of the world. We are just going for a loot run, so at the end of the day there's no risk. So don't worry too much if you're taking hits. And you know this unspoken benefit of the multi-class perk on the fighter actually that nobody talks about, and it's that you can use that second weapon slot for storage, which is always handy. As you can see, I throw that quarterstaff in there, which I normally wouldn't be able to do. That's very handy. I can also use it. It's probably stronger than my arming sword. But luckily I found a long sword, and I'm going to be using that as the primary instead. Get ourselves some boots. And we get 2 mimics in a row, which is pretty unlucky. We've won the anti-lottery here. And luckily we can take them out pretty easy. Getting a weapon upgrade on these runs is honestly the best thing early on. And we found a war maul as well. So right now we're packing 3 extra weapons and we have a primary upgrade too. Pretty lucky if I'm honest with you. That is a hell of a start. Now our aim is to sell all of these weapons on the trader market, and that's how we're going to make most of our money. Now we pop second wind here because we're up against archers, and there's a good chance we're going to take a hit or 2. Luckily on the first we don't. On the second we're still dodging. Again, since I'm not wearing anything, I have pretty high movement speed. I can just kite the arrows around, moving side to side, crouching. I really hope we see some nerfs to naked movement speed in the next playtest. I think there was a bit too many rangers and stuff running around with no gear on, just kiting like crazy. It obviously has disadvantages, but I think the advantages outweigh the disadvantages much more, especially if you're ranged, you know, like a wizard or a ranger. It can be extremely powerful. But we'll see what they do. I'm sure they're going to be making a whole host of changes. This took a long time for the next playtest. We're pretty lucky with the room that we get here. Coffin room is always nice. Normally a lot of loot across the whole room. We do find a green kettle hat, which I'll be throwing on instead of the Barbuta helm. I'm going to take those heavy boots too. And yeah, head a little bit deeper into the circle. And we are kind of lucky here with our spawn. This is where we realise that we're very lucky. And that's because we found the library. Now for any of you who don't know, the library is one of the best loot spots in pretty much the whole game in my opinion. It has 2 wizards in it. It has ridiculous amount of loot across the shelves. And it has a good drop rate for potions as well. And here we get a pretty nice Zweihander with 2 agility. Get a lockpick. It's also one of the few places where you can find lockpicks, which is handy. We get a green campfire kit. That is super nice. Now, I'm going to use this just in case we do run into some PvP on the off chance. It's going to refresh our second wind skill. For any new players that are looking to get into the game, campfires are a way to kind of regain HP and regain your skills that you only have one use of during a raid. As you can see, there's a little bar there above my second wind skill that's going up. Normally you wouldn't restore it with a regular campfire kit. With the green one, it takes it all the way up. I'll just relax and rest. Alright. Let's see what else we're lying around here. Couple more necklaces. Another potion, very nice. Now, this is kind of one of the few runs where I don't think we need a full inventory to actually make a lot of money because we do have these 3 weapons. Normally I like to fill up completely before I leave on a loot run, but considering the luck we got at the start, we're probably going to make pretty good money. But we'll loot this whole room and see how full we are at the end of it. Get with these pesky spiders. Smash that pot as fast as we can. Sometimes if you leave that pot, you end up getting overwhelmed a little bit. And yeah, I believe that's most of the library looted. Smash these pots, get a few extra trinkets if we can. We do have 2 escape portals. I think the dungeon's trying to tell us something. I think we should probably leave. Perhaps there's a 3-man waiting for us in the next room. But we will take our chances and learn a little bit more. End up choosing to keep the quarterstaff instead of making a little bit more space. Now, the reason I'm making space for the Warmaul in my inventory instead of keeping it in the second slot is because I want to use the bow. For space though, I probably could have kept the bow in my inventory for the time being, but since I'm completely full now, I decide to open the portal, get out, and we can see how much money I've made from this very quick, short, but effective loot run. So, let's head to the collector first and see how much we can sell our trinkets for. That is a good chunk of change, 55 gold, and we got just over 50 from the raid as well. We sold the Zweihander for 82 gold, which is very nice. 80, because this guy is a bit picky with his money. We get the quarterstaff sold for a nice even 50 gold. And we get the other one sold for 30. We are then able to sell the Warmaul for 50 gold as well. And we were unfortunately unable to sell the wizard hat, but we sold it to a vendor. And then at the end of the day, we end up with just over 250 gold from this quick loot run. So Hope you guys enjoyed the video. There's plenty of money to be made in these dungeons, and I wish you the best of luck in the next playtest. See you in the next one, guys.